The
Okay, well, good morning. Happy Friday to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being on today's Producers Club. I have the one and only Mr. Erick Claudio in the house today. I really appreciate your time, Eric, and yeah, just wanted to kind of dive deep into a conversation with you. But before we get started, I wanted to kind of highlight a couple of things of Eric. You know, Eric is a true professional based here in the South Bay. He obtained his real estate license back in 2016 at the age of 18.
That's right.
18.
18.
Wow.
Yeah.
You beat me. I was 22 when I got my real estate, and I thought I was the big young guy in the office. And to get your real estate license at 18,
Right out of high school.
yeah, that's amazing. He quickly established himself by leveraging the models and tools, and he is client-focused approach. He emphasizes in a lot of social media. He does a lot of video content,
Yeah.
and I think that has spread ultimately spearheaded him to be recognized as a local professional. So, without further ado, Mr. Erick Claudio, what's
Hello.
happening on that?
Thanks, Simon.
Awesome, awesome.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me.
So let's go into the conversation.
Sure.
So why real estate?
Uh, I was always a super chatty social guy growing up,
Yeah,
and got my first job in retail when I was 14 in Pacific in Huntington Park,
yeah,
selling shoes and hats. And then, graduation comes around, and I'm like, I either go to college or I sell the biggest, best thing I can sell to make a lot of money. And I was like, buildings, properties, real estate. So yeah, and then just coming from humble beginnings, I'm actually born in Mexico, and I came to the U.S. when I was one. So I'm a doctor recipient, and my family. I grew up in Bell Gardens, and I was like, man, I need to change my situation with my family. So that's why I was like, man, what's the best thing I could sell? Biggest thing I could sell? And I was like, real estate. And then I drove by a sign in Bell Gardens said real estate classes forming. I was like, that's a sign. Let's do it. Literally a sign. Yeah. And I was like, let's do it.
So this was something that you drove and you saw real estate school,
Yeah.
and that was your call
Yeah,
basically
exactly.
to uh obtain your real estate license.
Yeah.
So no one told you, hey, you need to get into real estate.
No, I don't have no family in real estate, no friends, no uncles, nothing. I guess the only inspiration was my economics teacher in high school.
Right.
One day he showed us like his real estate portfolio and everything he owned and his rents, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Right.
So then and then I remember to my girlfriend at the time when that was my wife, I was like, hey, I'm gonna do this real estate thing. And she's like, you're crazy. It's a little idea you have right now. You're gonna forget tomorrow. And
Yeah.
I'm still here almost 10 years later.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, how was that experience for you going through the trenches of going to school? You know, because for
Yeah.
and I go back to myself when I went, uh, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little bit overwhelming. It
Mhm.
was a little confusing. And back in the mid 90s, I think it was like 95, and I'm aging myself, by the way. But back in 95, I remember the same thing,
Yeah.
seeing a sign about, obtaining your real estate license. They had a real estate school. And I said, well, let me inquire about it. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just the leap of faith, go and register for it. And guess what? I didn't like it.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
was just like so confusing for me. It's like, I don't know if I can do this. So I stopped.
Okay.
I literally stopped and not continue. A year later, that intuition came back to me again and says, you know what? I need to do this.
Right.
So I ended up going the long way, and I went through college to obtain all of the
Yeah.
certifications in order to qualify for the state exam.
Uh-huh.
And it took me about a year, maybe a year and a half, to get
Right.
just the three certificates just to qualify for the state exams.
Yeah.
But I ended up doing it, and at 22, ultimately got my.
Did you pass on the first try?
I did.
Yeah, nice. I passed on the second try.
Okay.
Yeah, the first one I was like so close, and then I went back for the second try and I did it.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. But it was the schooling was you know what, I think it helped me that I was right out of high school.
Yeah.
I wasn't a great student. I'll say that. I'd say like I was like C's, get degrees, right? All that, like,
Right.
yeah. So, I was like, but I think because I had just gotten out of the rhythm of actual school,
Yeah.
and then I was just so excited about it. I remember I went to Rio Hondo College, at the same time I was in real estate classes for like 6 weeks,
Yeah.
and I was just way more thrilled about doing real estate and being in the business. So yeah, no, I was just like, this is it, and I was just so hyped about it. So that's why I was like, no problem.
So do you remember when you officially got the notification that you
Yeah.
passed the state exam? How was that experience?
I thought I was gonna be rich next month.
Right?
Yeah, I thought, and I remember doing research, and I was like, "Oh, how much do real estate agents make?" And they were like, "Oh, they make 8 to 10 to 15,000 ish commission." And a decent agent sells one house a month. I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna be cake." I was like, "Mom, we made it! Like, we're gonna do it all." And of course, it wasn't like that, And then I remember coming into the business, and just like every other agent, you're so thrilled, you're so up here, and then you realize how difficult it is.
Yeah.
And then you kind of come down to earth.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
humbles you.
it humbles me
Right?
a lot, a lot. And then I look back and I'm like, I remember feeling I didn't get my first sale till like 18 months in. Yeah. But then I sit there and realize I was an 18-year-old kid trying to tell people to trust me with their life savings. You know what I mean? And eventually somebody did, so but it was the beginning was very humbling, what ended up really working for me, and I recommend this to, I know there's might be people who have kids or nephews that were trying to encourage them to get into real estate, get a salary position in the industry. I was front desk at one point at another office. And then I became a marketing assistant, like, and then I became, now the guy I was an assistant for, now I'm his partner. And he's retiring and he's handing me his book of business. So I tell people, especially you have bills, you have kids, you have things to pay, you might have to have a double job. You might have to have what do they call it, the dual career.
Yeah.
Because it's if you don't come in knowing a lot of people, if you don't come in with some sort of connection, it's gonna be hard in the beginning. That's the reality.
Yeah. No, so true, Eric. I mean, for most individuals that get their real estate license, they don't realize that it takes a little bit of momentum.
Yeah.
It's one of those very far and few that have already, like you said, a book of business, or at least someone that's interested in looking into purchasing a property yourself, and they're just waiting for that individual to get their state license.
Right.
But that's, again, far and few, right?
Right.
Not too many people have that opportunity.
Right.
And, so it takes that momentum. And obviously, what we always say is you got to go out there and do the activities, right?
Exactly.
So going back to when you started the first real estate company, what was the first thing, the leadership told you to do to start generating momentum?
It's pretty simple. It's something that everybody here's already heard. Open houses, door knock, cold call, social media, talk to everybody you know. I mean, maybe there's a few other ones that I missed, like mailers and postcards and things like that. But there's only a few certain ways that you can reach out to people. So yeah. And I remember the first like success that I had was through open houses.
Okay.
Yeah, and I remember having some listings here in Torrance. It's open houses. It has to be anything you do. It has to be very, very consistent. I remember doing open house every weekend for like 2 years. And that's when I started really picking up some momentum.
Yeah. And going back to your question, you said earlier about dual career, right? Sometimes we have to sacrifice in the very beginning, especially for someone that's getting into the industry.
Yeah.
Or someone that wants to start, getting into production and hasn't really focused on real estate, but you still need to maintain, stream of income, right? Because real estate is not automatically immediate income, right?
Yeah.
It takes a minimum of 30 days, and that's only if the deal goes through.
That's a gorgeous situation. Like when I look back, being very real with everybody on this call, when I look back at my recent closings, they take 6 months to a year from when I meet you. If I meet you at the open house today, the most like quickest situation is like 3 months from taking you, getting you qualified, taking you shopping, and closing escrow. But really, it takes 6 months to a year, of follow up. They disappear, then they come back, like, and even listings I have coming up now, like the listing I just got the other week, Lake Elsinore, that was a year follow. So that's what I tell people, and I tell people in the role play class. I'm like, you know, make sure you have a way to pay your bills. Otherwise, you're just gonna be you start doing desperate things, and just you're in a frustrated situation and you're not doing things when you're in that state of mind.
Yeah, well, you need to be focused, obviously.
Yeah.
Time on task, but also like the book, The One Thing, right? Focus on the one thing to achieve
Right.
results from it. Yeah, I love that. So, it kind of resonates because again, it's like planting that seed when we talk about it quite often in team meetings and role plays,
Yeah.
is that, you got to plant the seed, but you got to nourish that seed, and eventually that seed becomes something beautiful, right? That's
Exactly.
the end result of someone that's motivated enough to buy, sell, or invest, right?
Exactly.
And that's where you capitalize on the opportunity, is when they're ready to do so. And that's when it gets exciting. But you don't get excited because the deal has to still go through elements of a process, right?
Exactly.
They have to find a property that they like. You got to negotiate the terms. They got to accept the offer. Then you go through the escrow period,
Right.
right? And all of the moving parts with that, with still no guarantee that the deal's gonna,
Exactly. I've had
you know-
deals blow up in my face 3 days before closing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's never
So
fun.
you don't start doing the happy dance until you actually get confirmation of recording.
Yeah.
That's when you
exactly.
can now
I,
start.
I get a little excited if there's a loan, when there's loan doc signed. That's when I get a little excited, to be honest with you.
Or at least when they release any and all contingencies.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You know that at least the buyer is still moving forward.
Right. You get better. You
Yeah.
get better. I don't want to. I hope people don't feel like, man, 6 months to a year, like, oh shoot. Your skin gets thick to it. You realize this is what it is, and you plan your life accordingly.
Yeah.
Well,
and then in this, and just to kind of piggyback on what you're saying, Eric, I think you have to definitely have that thick skin,
yeah,
but also be out there making commitments and conversations.
you have to.
Remember, folks, this is a relationship building industry or business, right? If you're not at least talking to people on a regular basis, you just never know where your business is going to come.
Exactly.
But if you're at least going out there and making a commitment to talk about real estate, well, that's one more closer and closer to someone saying, yeah, you know what, Eric,
Yeah.
I'm looking to buy,
Right.
I'm looking to sell, or I'm looking to invest.
Yeah, and I like to use the analogy. I tell agents, think of your real estate business as a train that's on the train tracks, and it's just standing still. And your job is to push it yourself, right? So you're gonna be at the beginning, you're gonna be working so hard and pushing so hard, and it's not gonna move. It's gonna barely move. It's gonna barely move. But after you gain the momentum, and that train is going,
Yeah.
take your hands off that thing, and then because you get to the point. I'm talking about referrals, because you get several years in of doing all these activities. Like this past month, I have been here a lot. You may have noticed I've been personal stuff, work stuff, and all of a sudden listings are coming to me. So you have to get to it's not always gonna be super hard. It gets to a point where it starts coming to you as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you, Eric, what is one thing that an agent should really hone in on the skills
Yeah.
that will help them in their business?
It's the being informed on the process, on where clients can get the money to close. I know the lenders have it's a completely own profession, but if you're able to provide more information than the other agent they talk to at the open house, they're gonna feel more comfortable with you.
Yeah.
So your conversation skills, being able to keep a conversation going, asking the right questions, overcoming the objections, and that's why we role play, and that's why we do that. Yeah.
So going to what you're saying, objection handlers, what does that mean to you?
It's uncovering what every objection is really like a complaint, I like to say, so
Or an issue?
or an issue, right? And people don't always put it out exactly the way it is. So an objection is an opportunity for you to dig deeper on what's actually going on in the client's brain. So that's why asking the right questions is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I'm very thankful that you spearhead here at the office, the role playing.
Yeah.
And the importance for agents to be able to understand, because I believe on the three fundamentals.
Mhm.
And if you know the three fundamentals, okay, that's the magic sauce, okay, that I'm gonna just let you know. If you at least know the three fundamentals in this profession, you're gonna survive this industry. Is learn contracts,
Uh-huh.
learn objection handlers,
Yeah.
okay? And then what would be the third one?
Uh, objection handlers, prospecting,
Negotiation.
negotiation, of course.
Yeah, prospecting is also, but if you know at least contracts, objection handlers, and negotiations, right? Because the key in what we do is about negotiations, right? You happen to represent a buyer, right? Loves a property and it's been sitting on the market for a very long time. You got to know how to maneuver that conversation and ultimately win over that listing agent
Right.
to see if you can get it for a lot less. You look like a hero if they get it for a lot less, right? But it's also the skill set, right? That
Exactly.
you need to know in order for you to achieve. And negotiations is even before an offer is submitted, you do your homework. Negotiations is also during. And guess what, Eric? Negotiations, and you know this, is even as close to closing, you may have to last minute try to maneuver
Yeah.
something to make it a win-win, right? So
Exactly. Yeah.
as
Yeah.
long as you know those three fundamentals in real estate, in my opinion,
Yeah.
that's what most agents who have been in it for 10, 15, 20 years plus
Yeah.
have mastered.
Right. Right.
And when you know that, and you're seasoned now, you got, what, 10 years now?
I'm coming in 10 years.
All right, so 9.5 years.
Yeah.
I think you build that muscle.
Right.
And you understand how to maneuver and ultimately get these deals.
Yeah, and that skill applies not only with your client, but like reading the whole situation. That's why you got to ask good questions. Who's the listing agent? How seasoned are they? What's the seller situation? How much does your buyer really like the property? And reading all that together is what's going to really help you negotiate the situation, because each scenario is so different. Sometimes you're representing the buyer and it's a super competitive situation, and you're negotiating, but it's really to do everything you can to get an offer accepted.
Right.
Versus a non-competitive listing, you're negotiating to get the best price. So it's reading the entire situation, and you're negotiating with everybody. You're negotiating with yourself on what to do. You're negotiating with the listing agent on what to submit. You're negotiating with your client, trying to not control them, but steer them in the right direction to submit the right kind of offer. So it is nonstop negotiation the whole way through.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good information. Now, I know you're heavily into video content.
Yeah.
How important is that in your business?
Each time you post something about real estate, you're watering a seed. You're watering a seed. Each follower you get is a seed, and then every time you post, you put in water. Sometimes people feel like, oh, my video didn't go viral. My video only got 100 views. Put 100 people in a room and tell them to watch your video. That's a lot of people, and after a while, you get those same 100, 200 people that look at your story on Instagram or Facebook. Each time they see that, Erick Real Estate, Erick Real Estate, Erick Real Estate, you're watering that seed. And guess what? Eventually, you're going to get that message. Hey, I'm ready to buy. Hey, I'm ready to sell. Recent listings that I got came from social media, not because my video went viral, but it's because somebody from an event or something, or school, or my family friend has been seeing my posts for years. And now they're making it, now that they're ready, who's the first thing they think of? Top of mind, right? I've heard you say that, Simon.
Right.
Top of mind, stay at top of mind. Or it's because of the social media, So that's why it's been important to me. It's just connecting your name to real estate and all those people that see the content.
Yeah, good point. Now, let me ask you, you make it look so easy on these videos. Like
Yeah.
you can create something within minutes and then post it on social media.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit of how that dynamic is, how you come across so efficient and great information that you provide on these videos.
Yeah.
But it takes a little bit more than just putting your face on a camera, right?
Yeah.
It takes a lot of planning.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it depends on the kind of content you want to put out. Uh, if you want to do a video tour, then you have to find the right property, make sure you have access and permission, record it, edit it, post it, So there is a lot of planning involved. It depends on how complicated you want to get. At the end of the day, I think a lot of, especially with video and content, a lot of agents go into analysis paralysis. They want the video to be perfect. They're like, I'm not going to post this because I want to get better at the editing. Even if it's just a video of you in your car talking, hey guys, the market's doing this and this, XYZ, just post it. Just post it, And then I tell agents, you didn't like the post, like then what you have to do, don't delete it, don't hesitate to post it, is bury it with more content. I don't like the video I did yesterday. They post 3 more videos, so it just goes down the feed and you don't even see it.
Right.
So yeah, there is a lot of planning involved, but it's better done than perfect.
Right. No, good point. Yeah, and that's, in my opinion, that's where a lot of people are very hesitant to do so, because you're right.
Yeah.
They think they have to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But the beautiful thing about it is you can do it once, and if you're not happy, you can do it again,
Exactly.
again, until you find that momentum where, the lighting, the sound,
Exactly.
everything looks good. That's the beautiful thing of what we have. So it doesn't have to be like in front of a camera, like a newscaster,
Yeah.
reaching out to you. You're kind of on the spotlight, right?
Yeah.
And you're just going 100 miles on that. The
Right.
beautiful thing is, yeah, you have the time to kind of play with it until you get a momentum and a rhythm.
Yeah, just like anything, you get better. Like if you go down, scroll down my Instagram to the old videos, I'm like, man, that was such a crappy video, And now I'm like, okay, well, I still have more, a lot better I can do, but it progresses over time.
But it goes back to this, it's like if you want to get in the best shape of your life, right? And you want to start working out. Let's say you want to build your shoulders, your arms, your chest, your back, whatever, right? You start in the beginning, you may not be able to lift that much, right? But if you're consistent on it, eventually you're going to be able to redefine and sculpt that, right?
Exactly.
And that's also your real estate. Maybe you don't feel happy about the video content, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We're all human beings at the end of the day, and people, guess what? People will relate with you even because it's so organic,
Right.
so
authentic.
genuine, right?
Yeah.
Where it's not so scripted, right?
Yeah.
When you get to the level of, true professional video content, it takes baby steps to get there,
Exactly.
right? But people will still respect and admire you and follow you, and then they'll see the definite value.
Yeah, and I think most people mean well and they'll support you, So even if your content is not the best, keep doing it. And at the end of the day, I can say that social media has brought me plenty of business, and it's worth doing at the end of the day.
How much time do you spend on social media doing video contents? And you could say on a weekly or on a monthly basis, just so the audience gets an idea on how much time you have to do as well to be able to upload these video content.
It does fluctuate depending on what's going on in my life and my business, but I try to do, maybe 2 to 4 posts a week. It might not sound like a lot, but over time that compounds, so that would translate to maybe 10 posts a month. Because if you want to make some, when you get skills and you want to make some good content, it does take time to edit it and make it well. But I'd say about 10 posts a month is part of what I try to focus on. And then outside of that, that's not all I do. I'm cold calling, I'm doing open houses and trying to find other forms of business as well. The social media, it always works as a like a supplement, because if I meet you at the open house, I'll say, follow me on Instagram. And then you see all the posts that I have on Instagram, and now it's like another way to follow up. I look at it, and then so yeah, just something like that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
How's this year, and now that we're in the halfway point of the year, how's your business right now?
I've had a strong year so far. I'll be honest, in the past like 30 days, there was a little slowdown. It was a little quiet. And I used to get stressed out about that. I used to be like, it's a little quiet.
Yeah.
but I kind of learned to also enjoy it. I'm like, okay, my son's out of school, let's kind of just hang out a little bit.
Yeah.
And I still do the activities, still keep doing the activities, but now it's picking up a little bit. I just got 3 listings. I'm about to put 2 commercial listings on the market.
Nice.
And I got about 2 buyers popping up right now, ready to shop. So, but again, it takes time, it takes time. So it's like, I feel really good right now. My goal every year is just to beat what I did last year.
Yeah.
And I think I'm well on track to doing that this year.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming up on 10 years, I'm curious to see what the next 10 years for Erick Claudio is gonna be.
I know. I sit here and realize, man, like I'm like the youngest one in the AOC and stuff, and I'm like 10 years, I'm gonna be 37. I'm like, man, I'm still very young.
By the way, just so I can share with the group, this was an anonymous choice by ALC.
Yeah,
Immediately when we were seeking to do a replacement,
yeah,
all of the ALC members said Erick Claudio. Erick Claudio.
yeah,
So obviously you have impacted the momentum of this office and the agents in here that they saw, a lot of value, but ultimately how you get back to the office too.
Yeah.
By role playing and just being accessible and available,
yeah,
which shows leadership, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So I see a lot of opportunities for you and doors that will definitely open as well
Yeah.
because of that. So,
Thank you, sir.
when you give, you get, a lot more.
yeah, no, and I'm excited. I did come into KW like obviously with high ambitions. I wasn't expecting it. It kind of came out of nowhere, and I'm like, yeah, of course, and they helped me get a listing already. I'm like, I'm gonna use all my cards, right? I'm like, I'm one of the leaders at an office of 400 plus agents, and clients like that. So
Yeah, well, that's your bio, that's your
Yeah.
resume, and anything that you can add to it, right? Such as certifications, endorsements,
right,
being part of an elite group, also definitely will benefit, when you're having conversations with, buyers, sellers, and investors, right?
Yeah.
Because they definitely see that you're so plugged in and you understand the ins and outs of real estate.
exactly, yeah, and people read you, people judge you based on the little they know about you. So make sure that what you put out there is something that they're gonna make a good judgment of. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna put out all my cards and then, let them make an analysis of me that I hope is good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, let's kind of pivot a little bit. And what is your main focus this year? Is it more commercial or is it residential or a little both?
I put myself out there and whatever comes my way, we work on, right?
Yeah.
The commercials coming from my mentor, who's now my partner. He's been doing real estate around here for 40 years, and he's getting close to retirement,
Mhm.
and he has a book of business that he doesn't quite want to work on too much. His business is draining, and so he just kind of puts me on them. So those are kind of just coming to me based on my relationship with my mentor, and the commercial stuff. And now that I'm meeting his clients, it's kind of now those clients are contacting me directly, and they're like, we want to work with Erick. So it's kind of opening me up to other stuff. But I focus on prospecting residential, and then of course, I mean, who's going to turn on a big commercial listing, So
Yeah.
yeah, but just I'm trying to do more social media, more. I'm trying to get more better at the phone calls, and and just ramp it up that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love that, love that. And you're so spot on. You get whatever comes your way. I mean,
Yeah.
that's an opportunity, right?
Exactly.
You're not going to say no. And if you don't know, the beautiful thing is you can partner up with people that may
Exactly.
have that experience, right?
Exactly.
And help navigate that. Because at the end, any opportunity is a good thing for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And at one point, I hope I get to the point where I can say, no, I have a listing in Lake Elsinore right now. So I know I'm gonna have to drive out there 10 times or something.
Yeah.
But maybe it gets to a point where I'm like, I could outsource that. I got plenty of business around here. But
Yeah.
at the meantime, we're gonna, I'll take a 10, 15, $20,000 check no matter where it is.
Well, good deal. Well,
Yeah.
we're at that time. It's 8:30.
Oh, that went by quick.
It went super quick, right?
Yeah.
Well, just a couple rapid fire questions for you.
Sure.
So that way we can finish up strong.
Okay.
So if you had a choice, number one, what is the vacation place that you would love to go?
Like I said, I'm DACA, so I can't go to Mexico.
Okay.
I can, but I can't come back. I'd love to go to Mexico. I'd love
Okay.
to go to Nayarit, where my family's from, and somewhere in Mexico.
Got it. Cool. Car of choice.
I want a red convertible Bentley one day.
Red
It's
convertible.
always that's been on my mind since I got into business.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Awesome. And where do you see your business in 5 years?
100 transactions a year.
100. Love that.
That's my goal. That's when I'm gonna feel like, okay, I beat the real estate game. 100 transactions a year.
What's your favorite movie?
Shoot. Favorite movie?
Probably have a whole lot.
Yeah, probably off the top of my head, the first one that comes up is Pineapple Express. Seth Rogen, James Franco. Yeah.
Good deal. Good
Yeah.
deal. Awesome. And then the last one for you is if you were to write a check to yourself, what would that amount be?
Check to myself, $10 million.
$10 million.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Eric, I appreciate you. Thank you very much for taking 30 minutes of your time to come and talk to the group. Doug, is there any questions?
Emilio raised his hand.
Emilio.
Good morning, everybody. Eric, great call, man. This is Emilio. I'm at the KW luxury office up here in the Valley.
Okay.
Been listening and just followed you, so great job on Instagram.
Thank you.
My question for you is, you mentioned you're going in on your 10th year, right? What would you say is the tweaks that you made from year 5 to year 10 in your business?
Consistency, less hesitation, more. I mentioned earlier I did 2 years of open house. That's probably around that time, around the 5-year mark, is when I was like, I just got to go all in. And I just started doing more and more of it, and it led to the results I was looking for. So just, doubling the activities, because I was tired of not having the production that I wanted.
Fair enough. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and if I don't know if Doug, it'd be great if you could put my Instagram on the chat. Anybody wants to follow me, I'll follow you guys back.
Beautiful.
It's I'm Erick Claudio.
Awesome. Any other questions, Doug?
Nope. That's true.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you for having me, Simon. Thank you guys for listening
Thank
to me
you.
talk for 30 minutes. Come to role play class at KW South Bay. If you guys can swing by every Wednesday at 10:30, we'll go over lots of good stuff. We cold call together. It's a lot of fun and we learn stuff. So every Wednesday, 10:30 here in South Bay.
Beautiful. Eric, thank you very much. All right. Thanks.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Simon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Very good.
Thanks, Eric. You're
Congratulations,
awesome.
Eric. Thank you.
Thanks, Simon.
Thank
you,
guys.
Eric and Simon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a great day.